There we go. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everybody doing today? I hope everybody is well. So, just to give you a heads up here, at some point during this live stream, I let Kali out with the puppies to get one more run in, and she took off. So, at some point, they'll be back, and I have to go put them away. So, just so you guys know that I will be disappearing for a moment when that happens. And I usually can tell when she comes back because she'll come right up to the door. So, yeah, she's getting a good stretch of the legs. I was trying to give her some more time outside, and of course she took off. But that's how it goes. All right. So anyway, before we jump into, let's see who we got here first. We got JJ's here, Delbert's in the house, Janet is here, Carol Prince, Bobby Farron, Ricky Bobby, Dale from Ohio, Delbert Jones. Good to see everybody. So before we jump into anything, I would ask you all to please be decent in the chat. No racism, no nastiness. If you cannot abide by those very, very simple, easy rules, those awesome people lit up in blue with the blue shields will boot you out of here because we are not going to tolerate that. We're not going to tolerate it. So I would ask you to be respectful and be nice. And if you see anybody come in and act like a jerk, please do not engage with them. Let the moderators take care of them, so they'll get them out of here. All right. Excuse me. I had a banana in between the last live stream and this one, and I just tasted the banana, so that was very nice. Anyway, I love bananas too, by the way. I do like bananas. Anyway, it's good potassium is what it is at the end of the day. If you're ever dealing with cramps, bananas are great for that. So, all right. So, what else was I going to tell you guys? I was going to tell you something here. So, a lot of stuff going on, obviously, and we're going to get into a bunch of it here in a minute. And but I've been watching different things, and it's so bizarre how they do things. Did you see the FBI warning about strong intel on Iranian drone strikes in California? I did see that. What did I say? Just in the last live stream, if there's going to be an attack on the U.S., it would either be on the West Coast or the Midwest. That's my guess. And the reason is because the East Coast is under such a microscope, and there's cameras everywhere. You get into the cities, and there's cameras absolutely everywhere. It makes it a little more difficult to pull shenanigans. Where, especially in the Midwest, it'd be easier. Now, don't get me wrong. There's cameras everywhere. They got cameras everywhere nowadays. I think back to when I was a kid, and we were, pulling certain crap, I guess is the right way to say it. Man, if those cameras had been around then, we'd have been in big, big trouble, big trouble. But luckily they were not. The biggest thing you had to worry about back then was fingerprints, and gloves took care of that. If you wore gloves, you were okay. Not that I wouldn't know anything about that. I'm speculating here. Oh, God, that's funny. I can think back to a few things that were quite amusing. But anyway, what do we got? 174 in the chat already, guys. We're at 45 thumbs up. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. Again, I do appreciate that. It really does make a huge, huge difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So I'm going to say something. I was telling the people in my private live stream this. I'm going to say something that's probably going to hurt some people's feelings, okay? But I am straight up, and I say it like it is. So according to Intel now that they're putting out there, that Iranian school that was hit, we probably hit that Iranian school, okay? Now, do I think we should be targeting Iranian schools? No, okay? But it's war, all right? When you are in war, there is collateral damage. Mistakes happen. Now I know people are going to get all flipped out. Oh, it's children and blah 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 blah. Yeah, those are children that are indoctrinated from an early age to hate America, to hate Americans, and Jews, of course. So there's a lot of indoctrination that goes on with that. I've said this before, guys. If you are going to go in and you are going to take a country out, if that's your goal, if we're not, that's not the goal, is what they're trying to do here, apparently, is what they're saying anyway. But if your goal is to take over that country, you start here. Here's the line. Everybody on this side of the line is a good guy. Everybody on that side of the line is a bad guy. And you wipe them out because they can't grow up to get revenge, to get they claimed they were using old satellite data. Listen, whatever excuse they're giving is the excuse, but it happened. Unfortunate. It is unfortunate, right? Because that was not obviously the target. It happens. Again, it's war. There's going to be collateral damage in war. Did anybody cry? Right? And I'm being honest here when I say this. Hey, Bear Jew, how's it going, brother? The West is the only society who thinks there's rules in love and war, and this is how we already lost. I don't disagree. Thank you very much for the donation, and thank you very much for the statement. And you're 100% correct. If you're in a war, you got to fight the war a certain way, period. That's it. You wipe them out. Again, these kids are going to grow up and they're going to want revenge. So if they never get a chance to grow up, then they can't get revenge and kill somebody else down the road. I mean, that's the reality. Like I said, I know that's harsh and some people don't like that. And I love the name, by the way. I know that's from that one movie. I can't think of the name of the movie, but I love the name. So, but again, when you go to war with somebody, and again, what you guys got to understand is the crowds that they had there, right? It wasn't Fury. Wasn't Fury. That was a different one. That was where he was the tank driver. No, the one that he is got the special unit that goes behind the lines. I can't think of the name of the movie. Somebody tell me the name of the movie. And the Bear Jew's one of his guys that caves the head in of the Inglorious Bastards. Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate that. There you go. That is the right name. Thank you so much. But yeah, I still like that movie. And again, did they show mercy? No, they did not. Okay. That's see what I think. People have this illusion realistically of what war is. They have this illusion. And I will tell you this, guys, okay? Both sides commit atrocities. Or anybody in there. They're going to do things that later on. Why do you think, okay? And I want you to think about this realistically, okay? We have 22 former service members every single day commit suicide, right? Part of it, from what they saw, they can't handle what they saw. They can't come back and go back to a normal life after they've done what they've had to do. Okay. Part of it is, now I want you to think about this, and I'm going to say guilt. Not always guilt for what they did. It's the guilt that they survived and their friends did not. And I'm going to tell you a true story here. Okay. True story. My one stepfather, and this is going back, he was a Vietnam veteran. Okay. Vietnam veteran. And this is what happened to him. Okay. And I'm going to kind of shorten it. I'm not going to go into all the details, but he told this to my mother. This is coming from him. He didn't tell us, we were kids, but he told my mom this story. And the long story short was the VC came in, were brought in by a woman. Okay. And they threw a hand grenade in the bunker that he was in, and he was literally blown out of the bunker. All of his friends, everybody in that bunker was killed. Every one of them. Okay. He survived by playing dead, they didn't get, they didn't realize that he was still alive. 2 weeks later, he saw that woman on the street, okay, and he killed her. He killed her right then and there. He killed her. And there's more to that story, but I'm going to leave it at that. But again, he felt so much guilt that all his friends died, and yet he survived. Okay. And he did eventually kill himself, unfortunately. But, it's just a lot of them can't come back. I don't think anybody goes to war and comes back the same person. And I will tell you what, and I'm going to be 100% honest again. I always am. Okay. I have never seen combat. I'm ex-military. I was in the Army. And as a 19-year-old kid, I was super gung-ho. Let's go. I hope something happens. Because they gear you up. You get fired up. Well, as a more mature man now, and I never did see combat. So I feel very blessed at this point that I never did. Because now, as a mature man, I can look back and realize, that's devastating to everybody involved. Everybody involved. So, and that's why we have what happens. So, did he talk about crying toddlers walking up to American camps? They were wired with explosive when that happened. I heard it. He didn't talk about that, but yeah, that's what they did too. The VC, they sacrifice. Well, it's just like with the radical extreme Muslims. They're happy to blow themselves up. They can't wait to go blow themselves up. They can't wait to sacrifice their children to do that for jihad or whatever the thing may be. Yeah, you never forget the sights, the sounds, and the smells. Exactly. So, but yeah, it's just it's an unfortunate situation, but nobody wins in war, realistically. Okay, and so my uncle talked about that. He was a Vietnam vet. Yeah, I mean, I mean, if I'm sure if I had gotten older and sat down with Jimmy, his name was Jimmy. If I had sat down with Jimmy and talked to him about what had happened and why, but a lot of the guys don't, folks. They don't talk about it unless they're extremely drunk or whatever. But yes, we are the infidels. Yes, we are. Yes, we are, Joe. So crazy stuff, guys. Absolutely crazy stuff. But right now we're just bombing the crap out of Iran, obviously. So you're watching the news, right? You're watching the news, and Iran is saying, oh well, oil could go up to $200 a barrel. Now that's what they want. They want oil to go up to $200 a barrel because it'll hurt us more than Europe and America and stuff like that more than anybody else. But the reality is this, okay? So they were starting to put mines, in the Strait of Hormuz, and we went in there and blew all those ships up. We blew them all up. They're going to get to a point where traffic is going to start flowing again in that area, and they'll take out who they need to take out to make sure that happens. Guys, we got 256 in the chat now. We got 98 thumbs up. So again, I'm going to ask real quick, if you have not shot that thumbs up yet, to please do so to show support for the channel. Again, I really do appreciate it. It really helps with the algorithms. It pushes us up higher up in the rankings. And so that's why I asked for the thumbs up. And it's kind of a game, too, to see where we get and how many thumbs up we get. It's just fun, But also, again, if you are not subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure that you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I thank you ahead of time. Ed, do you think that Iran will throw missiles at the U.S. of A? Are they brave enough to do that? They don't have the technology to be able to reach America, Mary. They can't reach us. Now, they were working on it, okay? Absolutely. I think anybody that is an enemy of somebody else, why do you think Kim Jong-un keeps working on his missile stuff? They're doing it because they're trying to get longer range missiles to be able to attack, places and stuff like that. So, it's just it's a very, very difficult thing. We're pretty fortunate, being in the United States, even like Canada, we're very, very fortunate because we have an ocean on both sides of us, that it would take a tremendous amount of effort if anybody was going to try to attack the mainland, if you will. It would be very, very difficult. Do you think we should be tapping the strategic oil reserve? Personally, I do not. No, I don't think so at all, Dale. Now, I did see there's a strategic oil reserve over there. They have 1.2 billion barrels, and they're talking about releasing 400 million barrels of that oil uh, reserve, which would have basically account for 20 days at 20 million barrels a day that are not going through the strait. Okay. Um, but they're talking about releasing that would be the equivalent of 20 days if they release that oil. And they're talking about doing that as well, which, that would be helpful. Obviously, it would be very, very helpful. Um, Ed, we have the largest nuclear powered military in the world. Oh, nobody, guys, like I said again, I said this the other day. Nobody can touch us as far as what we spend on our military. They can't touch us, you know. Is she out there? Hold on one second, guys. Hold on one second. No, go. No, she ain't back yet. She's not back yet, Hella. And you're not going out till she comes back. So I have to check. Kali's out with the puppies. So I have to keep an eye on that. The U.S. is still the largest producer of oil by far. And that's another thing that really pisses me off, Okie Forge, because we are oil independent. We really, truly are. Why are our gas prices going up as high as they are? They should not be. And the thing that really always made, hold on, I got to finish that light I got. Okay. So right after this whole thing happened and we attacked Iran, okay, along with Israel, like within a couple of days, gas prices went freaking through the roof, right? And the gas that was in the ground that they had shipped in was not at this new higher price. So that's a lot of price gouging going on. They're using obviously scare tactics to keep people upset and scared, and that's what they want to do. No, Bonnie's not locked in the battery room again. No, she was locked up in Les's place, not in the battery room. She was in Les's place. California diesel today was $5.59 a gallon. Oh, from Georgia to California. Okay. In Mississippi it was $5.59 a gallon. That's crazy. So it's like I said, there's a lot of games being played right now. Of course, we take the brunt of it financially. It's our sons and daughters. And here's and this kills me like with the liberals on this one. The first thing they're saying is, oh well, Trump should send Berrien, Berrien off the war. He wants war so bad. Why, send his son off the war. Well, he has an exemption. Okay, Berrien has an exemption. And it's an exemption that people don't realize and they don't think about. I was talking to somebody about this today. The exemption that Berrien has, Berrien's 6'9", guys. Okay, he's 6'9". The cutoff in the military is 6'8", because you got to be able to fit the equipment, be able to fit in the equipment to be able to use the equipment. And so when somebody is too tall, they're exempt from going in the military. So he has that exemption because he's just too tall. So, but again, it's just that's it. I was watching a couple of different things, and now we got these. Now everybody's protesting the Iran war, right? You got all these, and here's the best part. This is the best part to me. So you'll have these conservative reporters, I guess, go there to ask questions of people, right? And you'll have these people that come up in like the yellow vest, they're the ones that are in charge of the protest, and they'll be like, "Oh, don't talk to him. He's a right wing, person, so don't talk to him." So here's what I find interesting. Here's what I find interesting. JJ, would you take care of that, please? And you'll know what I'm talking about. Um, what I find interesting is these protests are extremely organized, right? You have, you know, a lot of money is going into this. There are professional protesters, guys. These independent journalists. That's what I meant to say. Independent journalists. Um, how convenient. He's too tall. Well, what do you want, our Journey Homestead? What do you? It's been something that's been in the military for a long time. Okay, so what do you want? Kid can't help how tall he is. Was that make you mad? Yeah, I think Pinball's like 6'8". Yep. So he's right at that cutoff. Yeah, I can remember when I met Pinball, I was like, holy crap, this dude is huge. Because you see him sitting at his desk. You know what I mean? You see him sitting at his desk and he's doing his videos. Um, you didn't realize how big the guy was when I met him. I was like, holy crap. Yeah, but I think Pinball's 6'8". He's probably actually 6'7.5". Oh my god, that's too funny. That is too funny. Pinball's 6'10"? No, he's 6'8". Because when I met him, I asked him, I said, dude, how tall are you? And he goes, I'm 6'8". Yeah. So, but yeah, he's a big boy. Yeah, and Baron is also a kidnapping risk, right? You couldn't put Baron out in combat. Just like when they had the princes over there in the UK, and they did the one son went in the military, and he did a couple of different things, but he had to do it on such the down low that they couldn't let you know what he was doing until afterwards because it's too much of a risk because they're a target. Of course, the enemy is going to want to try to take out those guys. So, but anyway, you know, things are amping up. Obviously, we just got the B-52 bombers over there now, so they can drop a lot of ordnance in a very short period of time. The one thing I did see that was like they've gone from like the first days of the conflict, they were shooting off like 435 missiles a day. This is Iran, drones and missiles, like 435 a day. And now it's down to like 45. So, they're doing the work. They're getting, those. No, you're not going out. She's still out there. So we got to wait till she comes back. Um, but, uh, But anyway, it's listen, guys. For those of you who are saying Pinball's taller, I asked him directly, face to face, how tall he was, and he said he's 6'8". So whatever, okay. Who cares? He's big. I'm just saying. Um, the tapering off of ordnance might be a trap too. I doubt it, because I think that there was an attack on the embassy in Toronto. Oh, really? I didn't see that one, JJ. I think they're trying to throw everything that they can throw at us right now. And again, you know, they're hitting different countries because we have military bases in a lot of these different countries, and that's why they're going for that. But Iran, okay, so let's talk about this, right? Let's talk about this. So the big focus is because they want the sympathy, right, from the bleeding hearts that we hit a school, right? We killed a bunch of kids at a school, right? That's what they want. Well, what about Iran shooting all these missiles indiscriminately, hitting hotels and stuff like that? What about that? Or is that okay? You know, mistakes happen. It's part of life. It's part of war, unfortunately. So, Any new weapons they tell you about in the military is already old. Oh yeah, they got stuff, guys. Like I said, the stuff that they used in down in Venezuela. You know, my brother joined the U.S. Marine Corps 6'2", and he stayed up for over 30 years. Oh, that's cool. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it always amazed me the guys that decide to make it a career. I had no desire for that. No desire for that. You know, I'm hoping that it's better in wartime, but in peacetime, and I'm being 100% honest, and I'm just going by the Army because that's what I was in, was the Army. It's a cluster F, okay? That's what I observed when I was in. Now, again, we were in peacetime. We were not in war. A lot of disorganization. Oh, now she's back. Let me get her put away. Hold on, guys. Hella, here. Go. Okay, Colleen. Okay. Okay. Hold on. Let's go. Come on. Come on, baby. Let's go. Okay, now you can go out. Yes, there you go. Go ahead. Oh. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Kali, like I said, just so you guys knew what was going on. Kali, I let her out earlier to get another run in. I try to get her out at least a couple times a day so she can run around. I was like, she won't be gone long, right? So she took off. Usually a lot of times the second run she stays closer. Not today. So she took off running, and I was calling before the live stream started, and I was like, freaking this dog. So we're 25 minutes into the live stream. She finally comes back. So I had to make sure she got locked back up, and I just let Hella out. So now Hella's outside. Some countries are doing rations and lockdowns in Asian countries and elsewhere amid war and oil. I'm going to tell you what, guys. And I was talking about this in my private live stream, and I really wanted to share this with you because I think this is important as well. Okay. I have always been, you've heard me on here for eons talking about stocking up, talking about, getting ready and being prepared and having things and stuff like that. Pretty much everybody here, and you can't really count the Vietnam War, Afghanistan, Iraq, those don't really count because we didn't suffer here other than losing loved ones and stuff like that, okay? But we never had to ration. We never had to go through any of that. Like World War II, the majority of the people that were old enough to remember World War II, they're all gone, folks. All those folks are gone. So, we don't have those memories of here's your ration card. You're allowed to get this much sugar, this much coffee, this much butter, or whatever the case may be, whatever it was that was being rationed. There is at some point could be the possibility, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, I'm just saying that it could happen, where if things got really bad, that they did rationing again, okay? Which would mean you wouldn't be able to just like right now, if I wanted to go tomorrow and go down to Walmart and pick up 250 pounds of sugar tomorrow, I could do that, and they're not going to give me any kind of problem doing it, right? I could do that in anywhere, get whatever I want, pretty much. Now this is the weird part, and I've told you guys this because this happened to me, not this last group shop, but the group shop before. We got the girls running up the transaction, and she was, oh, we've reached our limit, and I'm like, our limit? We're only allowed per transaction to sell a certain amount of items, and we had reached that limit. She goes, not a big deal. You pay this one, and then I'll just ring the rest up. It'll be another transaction. And I went, okay, but they're already doing that, okay? And that's Walmart doing that. Again, there could come a point in time where they're going to limit you and tell you you can get this but you can't get that and those type of things. That can happen. So to me, um, if I can stock up on stuff now, and have it available to me, if they decided to ration stuff, it was not going to affect me as badly as somebody else that didn't stock up. Again, in the other aspect of that, if it's a true SHTF situation, and I've talked about this, okay, there's two things that I'm going to get every single time. Every single time when I go and do a group shop, there's two things that I'm always going to get. I'm going to get 50 pounds of sugar every single time, okay? And I'm going to continue to add, like right behind me here, the freeze dried coffee. I'm going to get both of those things because, again, in a worst case scenario, not saying it's going to happen, there's a possibility. I feel like something is going to happen. That's just my take on it, okay? Uh, if there's two things that you would not get again in a true SHTF situation, right? Unless you're in a region where you can get cane sugar, which is regular white sugar, unless you're in that region, you're not going to get it. It's not going to be available. So if somebody has sugar, then man, what's that worth? Coffee is another one. You're not going to be getting coffee coming in from Colombia or any of those other countries down there anymore. It just wouldn't be happening. So again, to me, the way I look at things is, again, number one, it isn't going to get cheaper. It's only going to go higher. And it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Salt is another one. Yeah. I mean, you definitely should have. I quit sugar, probably better off without it. Yeah, probably. I like my sugar. I'm not going to lie. So, but again, a lot of people want sugar. So, again, guys, these coffees here, freeze dried coffee. That's what that is. Instant coffee. 20-year shelf life if the jar is open or not. So I don't have to put it in a Mylar bag. Just leave it right in the container. I pack it away, and that's it. Tea is another one. Yeah, I like my tea. I use Red Rose, the Red Rose black tea. That's my favorite. So that's what and I stock up on that because I like to drink it. So and again, I don't have tea every day, but if I get in the mood and I'm like, what, I feel like having tea, then I have it. When I went and I was showing everybody in the private live stream, yeah, molasses is a byproduct of cane sugar. You can mix, right? You can mix molasses in with white sugar to make brown sugar. So sugar is a recreational drug. Yeah, right. That's funny. Hot tea, Lamb's Light. I like hot tea, but yeah. So like when I went to New York this last time, because I couldn't find it down here. Now, yes, could I go online and order it and have them ship it here? I could. But when I went to New York in November, I went to Wegmans, and I knew they were going to have the type of tea that I like, which again is the red rose tea. Okay. Uh, Delbert said, Ed, I think they were asking how long a jar of coffee will last you, like a week or 2 weeks. Oh, was that what they were? For me personally, I don't drink a lot of coffee, guys. I just really don't. But again, there's people in the group that do like coffee, that want to have coffee. So that's one of the reasons why, I stock up on it as well. Now, I'll have a cup of coffee. I'm not against a cup of coffee, but like I said, my personal choice would be, look, guys, I'll give you an example. This one here, that's been open forever. Okay. It's not even half empty. That, because if I'm going to have a cup of coffee, that's how I have it. I'll just have an instant coffee. Now, when Dave comes down, Dave brews fresh coffee. So I'll say to him, yeah, actually, I'll show you, Lamb's Light. Hold on. The original black tea, Red Rose. You can use it, like I said, again, you can use it for iced tea or regular tea. I like it for regular tea. So I picked up 3 boxes of 100 tea bags each. That should last me personally for years. because, like I said, again, I don't drink it every day. I don't, but I like having it. Guys, we got 361 in the chat. We're at 161 thumbs up. Let's see. Let's shoot a goal. Let's make a goal for 300. So let's see if we can get 300, which is another 139, right? 30, yeah, 139 thumbs up. So if you have not shot that thumbs up yet, I would ask you to please do so to show support for the channel. Again, it really does make a huge, huge difference with the algorithms. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And I thank you ahead of time very much. But during an SHTF, depending on your mental state, your habits could change because of the SHTF situation, which is very true. Okay. But again, here's the thing, JJ. So let's say SHTF happens. Now I have more tea packed away, okay, than just these 3 boxes of 100, okay? But if I know this is what I got and I'm never going to be able to get any more, I'm going to ration myself at that point. I'm going to be like, okay, I'll have a cup of tea every 3 days. So it gives me, number one, something to look forward to. That's number one. Also, because I have it, it's like my treat to myself. Everybody in this group has certain things that they like, right? So I encourage them. Your creature comforts. That's what tea is for me, guys. Tea is a creature comfort. That's it. I enjoy it. I like it. I like it with a little bit of honey. All right. I don't put sugar in my tea. I just use honey. So as long as I can do that, then that gives me a sense of normalcy. And that's what you're looking for, especially in a true SHTF situation. You're looking to try to keep things as normal as you possibly can. So we're at 187. So we need another 123 thumbs up, guys. So let's see if we can get that. Yeah, you can reuse the bag too. Absolutely. Yep, absolutely you can. So you use that one, then the next time you use the same one, and when it starts to really not taste like tea anymore, then it's time to use a new one. So, but again, it's just if you're planned ahead and you're thinking ahead and you're going, okay, what do I need to do here? What do I need to take care of? It's going to go a lot smoother for you. And again, if I'm sitting on, right, so group sugar, right, I'll give you an example. Right now we're at 275 pounds of sugar as far as group food. That can be flour, something I'm having trouble with. Lamb's Light, wheat berries. Go buy wheat berries. You're looking at a 30-year shelf life with wheat berries. Get yourself a hand grinder that you can utilize yourself. Not electric, but a hand grinder. You can make your own flour. Okay? That's what I have. That's what I've done. Because if you buy regular flour, it doesn't have the shelf life. But if you buy the wheat berries, you can still, they're going to have a lot longer shelf life. And I think that's really, really important. So, but preps by one time to figure out resupply. Yeah, to a degree. You just gotta, like I said, again, there's staples that you need to have when it comes to preparedness, food wise, right? You got to have your beans. So like I've talked about it. I like split pea soup, right? Split pea and ham. So what are some of the things that I have stocked up? Canned ham, right? And green peas, the green split peas. Again, I'm going to want to be able to, throw some ham in there, get my pea soup going, and then have that. That's for me, that's a comfort thing. And if we're baking our own bread and we have bread and I can go ahead and dip that bread into the soup and eat that. I mean, it's just psychologically, and I think a lot of people don't think about this. It's not just about survival. Survival obviously has to be the top priority. You got to survive. But survival doesn't mean you have to suffer. when it comes to food, when it comes to those type of things. You know what I mean? But again, it's all a choice. It's all a choice. And you can stock up on things you like. I encourage people to stock up on the things that you like to eat. If you, like I said, I like SpaghettiOs with meatballs, right? So yeah, I have SpaghettiOs and meatballs stocked up. I like chicken noodle soup. I like split ham and pea. I like bean and bacon. I like vegetable beef. So those are soups that I stock up on. Clam chowder. I like clam chowder. So cup of tea every 3 days. That box will last you 300 days. Right. And that's just one box. Exactly. And I have other tea packed away, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, I'll drink coffee black with honey if I'm out of milk. I'll drink coffee black. I don't have a problem with drinking coffee black. I could care less. You know what I mean? Now, if there's creamer available and I can use hazelnut creamer, then sure, I'm going to use the hazelnut creamer. But again, there's no, ham and pinto beans with fresh onion and cornbread. There you go, Elvant. Again, you got it when you're stocking up. There's, like I said, rice and beans. Those are your staples, right? Those are gonna. Pasta is another staple because they're fillers. That's what they are. Well, your beans are your protein, but your pastas, those are your fillers. So you can make sure that you can have stuff to add into that, and that's where the Keystone hamburger comes into play, guys. If I'm making a big old batch of spaghetti and we got a good sized group of people, and I can take 2 cans of the hamburger, the ground hamburger, and put that in there, it just makes it that much better. And that's what it comes down to. Or how many meals am I going to get out of this? And that's another thing that you have to think about, depending on the size of the group that you have, the number of people that you have. How fast are we going to burn through those supplies? So, again, the more that you can, yep, I've bought canned hams. I have a bunch of them. Probably 30, maybe more. I don't know. I don't know the exact number. I got it in my registry. I would have to look. But yeah, yeah, that's all that. Mackerel, sardines, canned salmon, anything, ham, turkey, chicken, tuna fish, all those things, you're going to go through. I want you to think about this, okay? And I'll give you an idea of something. So, as a group right now, right, we have 240 cans of tuna fish. And you might go, wow, that's a lot of tuna fish. But let's break it down. One person can eat a can of tuna fish in one meal, right? You mix it with some mayo, make yourself a sandwich. That's it. One can, one person. So if you're trying to feed, let's say 20 people, I'm just going to make a number, say 20 people, right? How long does that tuna fish last? How many meals is that, right? It's not a lot when you think about it, not really. So again, those are things that when you're stocking stuff up and you're getting stuff prepared and ready, you look at that and you go, man. Now, see, here's the problem with chocolate, Tina Green, okay? The chocolate that we have here in the United States is not the same kind of quality of chocolate that you would have, say, in Europe. It breaks down. That chocolate will not stay chocolate. It'll break down into a powder. Ask me how I know, right? I like chocolate. So, I've stocked chocolate up. Pulled chocolate out later, and it is a powdery dust. So that absolutely happens. So, again, it's just trial and error, trial and error. Figure out what works, figure out what doesn't work, and kind of go from there. All right, so we're at 339 in the chat, guys. We got 209 on the thumbs up. We need 91 more thumbs up to hit 300. That's the goal, because why not? So again, if you have not, everybody that's in here that hasn't shot a thumbs up yet, if you do, we're over 300. So if you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do so again to show support for the channel. Again, with the algorithms, the more interaction, the better for the channel. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. And again, I thank you ahead of time for that. All right, so we are going to do egg count. Okay, so how many eggs did we get today? So I have 14 hens, okay, all together. How many eggs today? Yes or no for Betty White? One chicken that lays a white egg. And then how many Easter eggers? I have 3 Easter eggers. So how many total eggs? Yes or no for Miss Betty White? And yes, how many of the Easter eggers laid? So I'll give you guys a moment to get your guesses in, and we will go from there. All right. So I got an itch in my freaking nose. It's driving me crazy. You ever get that hair that gets in a certain spot and it just is irritating? That's what I got going on. So, and let's keep those thumbs up coming, guys. We're at 224, so we need 76 more. 76 more thumbs up to hit that 300 mark. All right, give you guys another minute on your guesses here. But again, it's like it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. I like being stocked up. It makes me feel better personally when I have a decent amount of food. It really does. Psychologically for me, it's like okay, we're good for however long however long it would be. All right. If you had the same exact guess as Karen McIntosh, 8 eggs today, yes for Miss Betty White, and 3 Easter eggers today, which I was shocked that all 3 of them actually laid today. So, congratulations to Karen. You have won absolutely nothing, but you are happy about it. And I think that she's a first time winner because I don't remember Karen winning before. So, congratulations to Karen. So, I try to stock up on canned fish, but it's mostly seed oils. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. How long is the shelf life for bag tea? I actually have no idea, to be honest with you. I have no idea. But I don't even know if it's maybe it says that on the box. If the tea has a best by date. Oh, here we go. Uh, it says best if used by September 12th of 27. So a couple of years on that, according to them. That's the best by date. Doesn't mean it's gone bad. Those who give a thumbs up get a bonus of also winning absolutely nothing, so they can be happy too. And there you go. I do appreciate the thumbs up. The thumbs up is a game, you know. What's your favorite chocolate? Oh man, hard to say. I can't think of one that I like Reese's Pieces, but that's got chocolate and peanut butter. You know, when it comes to chocolate, pretty much like Cadbury eggs. Love Cadbury eggs. I think those are amazing. Reese's Kisses. The little. I like those as well. So, there's a lot. White chocolate. Oh my god, I love white chocolate. That's probably my favorite. Is white chocolate. Not easy to always get unless it's in season for like Easter. But yeah. Cherish your preps because there may come a time where you might have to decide whether to eat a roach or a beetle to stay alive. Well, and again, you know what, JJ, that was always been my thing. I wanted to make sure I was in a position where I wouldn't have to do those type of things to survive. So, you know, that's the biggest thing. That for me has always been the biggest thing. Guys, we're 53 thumbs up away. So to hit 300 and we got about 11 minutes to go. So let's keep them coming, please, and thank you. But yeah, Godiva or Linnet, depending on the budget. Yeah, no, if you get better chocolate, it's going to taste better. Like I said, European chocolate is so much better than American chocolate. So, but yeah, that's all part of that. But again, with the craziness that's happening, Could there be a point in time where they're limiting you on what you can purchase? It would not shock me. Okay. So if you can get stocked up ahead of time, get yourself in a position where you have enough of what you like and what you want to do. And again, like I said, I don't think short term. All right. I think long term. So, and again, I don't want to just survive. I want to be comfortable while I survive. That to me, that's important. It's thriving while surviving because eventually, and I've had people say, well, eventually all your preps are going to run out. And you're right, 100% right. But if I am supplementing my preps with what I can gather in the woods, what I can grow, whatever livestock is available to me, right? Uh, those are things, uh, you know, that make a huge, huge difference. So you're not just going to be eating on your preps. You're going to be foraging for wild edibles, right? You're going to be growing as quickly as you possibly can, depending again on the time of year that it is. So you're going to be gathering those things. Uh, you know, if there are fruit trees available to you, right? Why do you think we're planting so many fruit trees here? There's a reason why, okay? So again, all those things go into play, and then livestock. Like one of the things that I pay attention all the time, and I know which one of my neighbors, like an example, have sheep, right? Now, am I going to take their sheep when the time comes? No. But what I want to be able to do, I want to be able to be in a position where I can say, listen, I would like a breeding stock of sheep, right? Give me two females and a male, and we'll trade you XYZ. I want to be in that position where I have what they want or what they need, and they're willing to let me take those animals, right? So that's a big part of it for me. Making sure we have livestock here, or like even like with pigs. If I can get a breeding stock of pigs, like one boar and two sows, they're going to produce a lot of babies. So you keep those three alive, and they have the babies. You raise them up for the summer, you butcher them, and now you got a lot of meat. So again, it's all part of the whole bigger picture of things. And again, keeping what you have, not letting somebody come in and take what you have. Yes, get Lamb's Light says get books that show you how to repair stuff, show you not only how to prepare stuff, but how to, what wild edibles are, what's out there in the woods that you can eat, because people will walk right by food and not realize it's food. So most of us eat way more than we need. Absolutely. Right now. But if now all of a sudden you're rationed, then you're going to have to make decisions of what you're going to do. So, guys, we're at 259 on the thumbs up. We got about 7 minutes to go. We need 41 more to hit 300. Let's see if we can get there, please. So, again, if you have not shot that thumbs up, please do so. I just want to see if we can get close or if we can hit 300. So that would just be for fun. So keep them coming, please, and thank you ahead of time. Um, but again, knowledge is power. That's another thing, right? So, great answer. Go fishing. That's great. That's great until everybody and their brother have the same idea, Brownsville. And I'll get Hella. She's fine till I get done with the live stream. I'll call her in after that. If she would be right by the door, and she'd let me know if she wanted to come back in already. But again, so there's not going to be wild game to hunt. There's not going to be fish to get, okay? Because everybody and their brother, when they're starving, are going to be hunting. They're going to be fishing. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to you. And because that's what most people think. Oh, I'll just go fishing and I'll catch fish and I'll be great. Yeah, and when those fishes and creeks and in lakes are fished out and there's nothing more to get because 2,000 fishing poles are in that water every single day, all day long, trying to get as many fish as they can to eat, there's not going to be the wild game out there to be able to get. So those are things that I don't think people think about. Because I've had people say to me, Well, I'll just go in the woods and I'll survive. Well, that sounds great, in theory. Oh, I think she's ready. Hold on, guys. Are you there, girlie? There she is. Come on, baby girl. In. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah. That's a good girl. All right. Everybody's accounted for. But again, it's figuring out your priorities. And like I said, the number one priority is always going to be water. Always water. That's number one. Um, I've said this before. I'll say this again. When SHTF happens, and I do believe it's a matter of time, not a matter of if, okay, more people are going to die from dysentery than any other way. They're going to drink tainted water, they're going to get diarrhea, and they're going to crap themselves to death. It ain't pretty, but it's going to happen. Guaranteed, 100% going to happen. So, unless you know how to process water, unless you have ways already to process water, you're going to be in trouble in a hurry. And that's something, again, people in general are not sitting on thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons of water put up. They're just not. Okay. So to me, that's an important aspect of why we have totes everywhere on this property. Why we have rain catchment set up all over the place. It's for a reason, and that's another thing that, rainwater, okay. Rainwater still needs to be processed, and there's a couple reasons why. Guys, we're at 281, so we need 19 more. 19 more thumbs up, please. We're definitely in range. We could definitely hit 300. So rainwater is hitting your roof. Like, I have metal roofs. Every roof that I have is a metal roof, okay? So rainwater hits the roof, it goes into the gutter, it goes into the totes. Great. I have a screen on top of the totes, so the water is filtered, and that way there's not a bunch of crap in it, right? But birds are crapping on these roofs, right? So there's going to be some stuff like that on those roofs as well. So what you're trying to do is, if you're going to use that water, and like I said, I use water from the roof of my camper. I filter anything that I am going to drink or cook with. I filter it first, treat it, make sure it's good. And that's why I have a Berkey. Okay. You can also, per gallon, 6 drops of bleach. That will work also. Okay. So you can utilize that. Now, with doing that, that's going to kill a lot of pathogens. I would still boil that water before I drank it. That's just me. Okay. But now, to wash up, like I wash up with my rainwater. Do I treat the rainwater before I wash up? No. But, and again, so it's all about planning, putting things in perspective. But water's going to be your number one thing. Food, seeds. Seeds are going to be huge, because we are going to be gatherers and growers. So, guys, we're at 295. We need 5 more thumbs up to hit 300. So we're right there. So I appreciate it again, and I thank you. So hopefully we'll hit that goal. But I live around a lot of lakes, and that's great. Again, that's great until you have thousands of people fishing those lakes every single day, and then either the fish are going to go deep and they're not going to be there hitting everything, or they're going to get fished out, and all the bigger fish are going to be gone. And that's the problem, 6 drops per 10 ounces of water. No, I think it's a gallon. I think it's per gallon. 6 drops per gallon, I believe. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. So, but all right, guys, we need 2 more thumbs up. I'm going to leave you with my favorite saying. Okay? STD. And if you follow that mantra, you can accomplish anything that is reachable. If you set realistic goals, and that's the number one thing, realistic goals that you can reach, and then you follow the mantra of STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. You can accomplish anything that you set your mind to. And the only person that's going to stop you from achieving your goals will be you. That's it. Nobody else. Stay positive. Stay away from negative people that tell you can't accomplish something. I cannot tell you through the years, how many times people said, you're never going to get that done. And I've always had the same answer for those folks, guys. I say, watch me. And the reason I say that is because when you get that goal accomplished that you set out to do, and all the naysayers that are out there, oh, it'll never happen. He's not going to get that done, blah, blah, blah. When it gets done, what can they say? They can't say anything. They have to shut up because you did it. Okay. So, again, surround yourself with positive people, stay away from negative people, and just keep rocking away, guys. Keep doing the best that you can for your families. Don't be victims. That's my biggest thing, too. Please don't be a victim. I see we hit 309, so that's awesome. So I appreciate you guys. Please be safe, guys. Keep your heads on a swivel. Keep prepping. Get stocked up while you still can. Because if they eventually set limits, you can't really, it'll be a very, very difficult to stock up at that point. Okay. So hang in there, be safe. I will talk to you all later. And I will be live streaming on Sunday. Oh, today's Wednesday. Friday. I'll be live streaming Friday. Sorry. Friday at 8 o'clock. I will see you on Friday. All right. Sorry. Have a great night. I will talk to you all later. Preppreneur Swan out for now.